Right now, in this moment, every cell in your body is listening to your thoughts. Your brain is firing in familiar patterns, creating the same reality you've been living day after day. But what if I told you that in the next few moments, you're going to understand how to completely transform your life? Not just understand it intellectually, but actually, here's a scientific fact that might blow your mind. Your brain processes 400 billion bits of information every second, but you're only aware of about 2,000 of those bits. That means most of your life is running on autopilot, creating the same experiences over and over again. But here's the extraordinary thing. Your brain can form new neural connections at any age, any moment, even right now as you're listening to these words. I've seen people completely transform their lives using this information. I'm talking about people who were stuck in wheelchairs getting up and walking, people with terminal illnesses becoming completely healthy, broke individuals becoming wildly successful. And they did it not by focusing on their external world, but by changing something far more fundamental, their inner state of being. You see, most people wait for something in their outer world to change before they'll believe in new possibilities for their life. They're waiting for the perfect relationship, the right amount of money, or the ideal circumstance. But that's the old model of reality. The truth is, you can create whatever you want in your life by understanding one fundamental principle. Your thoughts and feelings are literally programming your genetic expression, your neural circuitry, and the quantum field around you every single moment. The difference between where you are now and where you could be is simply a matter of properly directed consciousness. Your brain is a quantum computer with infinite potential, and in the next few minutes, I'm going to show you exactly how to tap into that potential to create wild success in your life. Think about your life right now. Every morning, you wake up, and within moments, your brain switches on its automatic programs. You think the same thoughts, feel the same feelings, make the same choices, and then you wonder why your life stays the same. It's not your fault. Your brain is doing exactly what it's designed to do. Run familiar programs to keep you safe and comfortable. But let's take a closer look at what's really happening. Your brain has created millions of neural networks based on your past experiences. These networks are like well-worn paths in a forest. Every time you think a familiar thought or feel a familiar emotion, you're walking down these same paths. And here's the kicker. These neural networks aren't just in your head. They're creating an energy field around your body that's attracting more of the same experiences. Let me make this really practical. When you wake up each morning, what's the first thing you do? Most people grab their phone, check their messages, and immediately plug back into their old identity. They start thinking about their problems, their stress, their to-do list, and guess what happens? Their body starts producing the same stress chemicals it produced yesterday. Cortisol, adrenaline, these chemicals become like an addiction. Your body literally gets hooked on feeling stressed, anxious, or worried. Your brain has something called the default mode network. It's like your brain's autopilot system. When it's active, you're thinking about yourself, your problems, your past, your future worries. You're stuck in the same old story about who you think you are. And as long as this network is running the show, nothing in your life can really change. But here's what's fascinating. Most people don't realize they're addicted to their emotions. They think they're just responding to their life circumstances. But the truth is, they've trained their body to crave certain emotional states. If you've been living with stress for years, your body's cells have receptor sites specifically waiting for those stress chemicals. It's like having millions of tiny mouths hungry for their daily dose of stress. The good news is, you're not stuck with these patterns. Just because you've been running these programs for 10, 20, or 50 years doesn't mean you can't change them. Your past is not your future unless you live from it. But to create real change, you have to be greater than your current circumstances. You have to stop being the same person who created these patterns in the first place. Think about it. Everything you want in life exists as a possibility in the quantum field right now. But as long as you keep showing up as the same person with the same energy, the same thoughts, and the same emotions, you'll keep creating the same reality. Your energy has to change before your life can change. The power you have to change your life is far greater than anything you've been taught. Science has shown us something remarkable. Every thought you think sends a signal into the quantum field. This field isn't somewhere far away. It's everywhere, and it's responding to you right now. It's like an invisible ocean of infinite possibilities, and your consciousness is the fishing line you cast into it. When quantum physicists look at the building blocks of reality, atoms, particles, energy, they've discovered something that changes everything we thought we knew about success. These particles, which make up everything in your physical reality, exist as pure potential until they're observed. In other words, your observation, your consciousness literally affects the way matter behaves. This isn't philosophy, it's hard science. Let me explain what this means for your success. Right now, all possible versions of your life exist as waves of probability in the quantum field. The reason you're experiencing your current reality instead of your desired reality is simply because of where and how you're placing your attention. Your observation, combined with your emotional state, is collapsing these waves of possibility into particles, into your physical reality. But here's where it gets even more interesting. Your heart generates an electromagnetic field that's 100 times stronger than your brain's field when you align your heart and brain. When you feel the emotion of your future success as if it's happening right now, you create what scientists call coherence. This coherent signal is like a beacon in the quantum field, attracting experiences that match your new energy. Think about the implications. Every time you sit down to meditate, to visualize, to feel the emotions of your future success, you're not just doing a mental exercise. You're literally sending a new signal into the field of all possibilities. You're tuning into a new frequency of reality. And this is crucial. You have to move beyond thinking and into feeling. The quantum field doesn't respond to your thoughts alone. It responds to the energy of your emotions. Most people try to create success from a place of wanting, of needing, of absence. But that's like sending out a signal that says, I don't have this. And the quantum field, which responds to your energy, simply reflects back more of that lack. To create real change, you have to move from particle to wave, from your known reality to the field of all possibilities. When you sit down to create your future, you have to lose track of your body sitting in the chair. You have to forget about time. You have to move beyond your familiar emotions and physical sensations. In that state, you're no longer bound by the limits of your physical reality. You become pure consciousness, pure energy, pure potential. This is why people in our workshops sometimes have spontaneous healings or sudden breakthroughs in their lives. They've learned to lift themselves out of their familiar energy patterns and tune into a new frequency of possibility. They're no longer trying to create success. They're becoming success at an energetic level. They're moving from particle thinking, fixed, limited, material, to wave thinking, infinite, unlimited, energetic. The key is consistency. You can't do this once and expect your whole life to change. Just like you wouldn't go to the gym once and expect to be in perfect shape. This is a practice of training your brain and body to exist in a new state. When you do this regularly, something magical starts to happen. The quantum field begins to respond differently to your presence. Opportunities show up unexpectedly. Synchronicities become common. Your external world starts to reflect your internal transformation. Your brain is constantly changing, rewiring itself based on your thoughts, experiences, and emotions. This isn't just positive thinking. It's neuroscience. Every time you think a thought or feel an emotion, you're either strengthening existing neural networks or creating new ones. It's like your brain is a garden, and your thoughts are the seeds you plant and water every day. Let's talk about what's really happening in your brain when you start this work. Your brain has about 100 billion nerve cells, and each one of these cells can make up to 10,000 connections with other cells. That's more possible neural connections than there are stars in our known universe. But here's what most people don't understand. These connections are either growing stronger or getting weaker every single moment based on how you use your brain. When you keep thinking the same thoughts and feeling the same feelings, you're strengthening those neural pathways. It's like walking the same path through a field every day. Eventually, it becomes so well worn that it's automatic. This is why breaking old habits can feel so difficult. Your brain has literally shaped itself around these patterns. But here's the exciting part. Your brain also has this amazing ability called pruning. When you stop using certain neural pathways, when you stop thinking those old thoughts and feeling those old emotions, those connections start to weaken. It's like letting that well-worn path in the field grow over with grass. Your brain literally starts breaking down the circuits of your old self. Now, most people are addicted to their emotions. They're addicted to feeling worried, stressed, frustrated, or angry. These emotions have become such a normal part of their life that their body craves them like a drug. Their cells have developed receptor sites specifically waiting for their daily dose of stress chemicals or worry chemicals. Breaking these emotional addictions isn't easy, but it's absolutely possible. It requires becoming aware of your unconscious states. You have to catch yourself when you start sliding back into those familiar feelings. You have to become conscious of your unconscious habits. Every time you interrupt that automatic program and choose a different thought or emotion, you're literally rewiring your brain. But it's not enough to just break down the old circuits. You have to build new ones. This is where the real magic happens. When you sit down every day and rehearse the thoughts and feelings of your future success, you're installing new neural circuits. You're literally building the brain of a successful person before the success arrives in your physical reality. Think about this. Your brain doesn't know the difference between what's happening in your outer world and what you're vividly imagining in your inner world. When you combine clear intention with elevated emotion, you're signaling your genes to make new proteins to change your brain's architecture. You're not just thinking about success. You're physically becoming success at a biological level. Here's what this looks like in practice. Every morning before you engage with your external world, you sit down and create your future. You practice thinking in new ways. You rehearse new states of being. You feel the emotions of already having what you want. This isn't daydreaming. This is deliberate neuroplasticity. You're actually changing your brain's hardware to match your new software of thinking. The key is repetition. You can't do this once or twice and expect lasting change. Just like building muscles at the gym, you have to keep practicing until these new neural networks become stable and automatic. The good news is your brain is always learning, always changing, always adapting. There's no age limit on neuroplasticity. You can start rewiring your brain for success right now, today. And here's something fascinating as you build these new neural networks. As you practice being in this new state of mind and body, your brain starts producing new chemicals. Instead of the stress chemicals you might be used to, you start producing things like dopamine, serotonin, and oxytocin. Feel-good chemicals that help reinforce these new patterns. This is why people in our workshops often report feeling lighter, happier, more energized. They're literally changing their brain chemistry through this work. They're breaking their addiction to negative emotions and creating a new addiction to elevated emotions. They're rewiring their brain to automatically look for possibilities instead of problems, to expect success instead of failure, to feel gratitude instead of lack. Let me share with you the exact formula that's going to rewire your brain for success. This isn't just another morning routine. This is a scientifically designed process to shift your energy and create lasting change. When you do this process every morning, you're literally installing the neurological hardware of success before you start your day. First, you need to wake up earlier than usual. Why? Because if you start your day rushing into the same routine, checking your phone, thinking about your problems, you're going to trigger the same neural networks and create the same day all over again. Instead, get up while the analytical mind is still quiet. Before the world starts making demands on your, start by sitting up straight, eyes closed. Take 3 slow, deep breaths, breathing in through your nose and out through your mouth. Each breath should be slower than the last. This simple breathing pattern starts to shift your brain waves from beta, the thinking mind, to alpha, the programmable mind. You're literally changing your brain state. Now place your attention on your heart. This isn't metaphorical. I want you to actually focus on the physical space of your heart. As you do this, start to breathe as if your breath is flowing in and out through your heart area. This technique immediately begins to create heart coherence, a measurable state where your heart and brain fall into sync. This coherent state is crucial for what comes next. While maintaining this heart-focused breathing, begin to generate a feeling of gratitude. Not just thinking about what you're grateful for, actually feeling it in your body. Feel appreciation for your life, for your body, for this moment. This emotional state starts producing new chemicals in your brain and body. You're literally changing your chemistry through this practice. Now comes the mental rehearsal. With your eyes still closed, start to imagine your future success in vivid detail. See yourself living that success. Feel the emotions of already having what you want. Remember, your brain can't tell the difference between a real experience and one you're vividly imagining with emotion. You're literally installing the neural circuitry of success. But here's the key: you can't just visualize it. You have to feel it. What would it feel like to be wildly successful? What emotions would you experience? Would you feel freedom, joy, peace, power? Generate these emotions now in your body. Let them fill every cell. This is how you start broadcasting a new electromagnetic signature into the quantum field. As you maintain this elevated emotional state, start to notice the details of your future success. What are you wearing? How are you carrying yourself? How are others responding to you? What decisions are you making? Make it as real and as detailed as possible. You're not just daydreaming, you're programming your autonomic nervous system to recognize this new reality as normal. Stay in this state for at least 15-20 minutes. If your mind wanders to your current problems or limitations, gently bring it back to your future success. You're training your brain to stay focused on possibility rather than limitation. You're teaching your body emotionally what your future will feel like. Before you open your eyes, make a firm decision that today you're going to look for evidence of this new reality showing up in your life. Expect good things to happen. Expect synchronicities. Expect opportunities. Your reticular activating system, the part of your brain that filters reality, will start to notice evidence that matches your new energy signature. Remember, this isn't a one-time event. This is your new normal. This is how you start to live as your future self now. When you do this practice consistently, your body will begin to crave these elevated emotions instead of the stress chemicals it used to run on. You're literally rewiring your brain's reward system to seek out success instead of struggle. The secret to creating wild success isn't about struggling toward a future goal. It's about living from the end result right now. When you understand this principle, everything changes. You're no longer trying to get somewhere. You're operating as if you're all. This isn't pretending. This is actually rewriting your nervous system's programming. Here's how future memory installation works. Your brain is always drawing from the past to create your future. But what if you could give your brain a new past? That's exactly what we're doing when we install future memories. When you sit in meditation and experience your future success with all your senses, feeling the emotions of that reality, your brain begins to store that experience as if it's already happened. Think about a real memory from your past, maybe a great achievement or a wonderful moment. Notice how that memory has specific sensations, emotions, and details attached to it. Now, we're going to create memories of your future with the same level of detail and emotional intensity. This isn't visualization. This is full body, sensory rich experience. Let me make this practical. When you get dressed in the morning, dress as your future successful self would dress. When you walk into a room, carry yourself the way that future version of you would carry yourself. When you speak to others, speak with the confidence and clarity of someone who's already achieved what you're working toward. You're not pretending, you're practicing being until you become. The key is maintaining these elevated emotions throughout your day. Most people can feel great during their morning meditation, but then they let the first challenge or obstacle drop them right back into their old emotional pattern. You have to become aware of these emotional dips. The moment you notice yourself sliding back into worry, stress, or doubt, that's your signal to return to the emotional state of your future self. Here's a technique I want you to practice. Every hour, stop for just 60 seconds. Close your eyes if you can, place your attention on your heart, and regenerate the feelings of your future success. Feel gratitude, excitement, joy, freedom, whatever emotions align with your future reality. This simple practice keeps you in energetic coherence with the future you're creating. Watch what starts happening when you maintain this elevated state. You'll begin noticing synchronicities, meaningful coincidences that seem to support your new reality. Maybe you'll run into exactly the right person, or an unexpected opportunity will present itself. These aren't accidents, they're evidence that you're tuning into new possibilities in the quantum field. Your job is to recognize these signs when they appear. Most people miss them because they're too busy looking for things to go wrong, but when you're living from the end result, you start to expect good things to happen. You're literally training your brain to notice evidence that supports your new reality. Let me give you an example from our workshops. We had a woman who wanted to start her own business. Instead of focusing on all the reasons it might fail, she started living as if her business was already successful. She changed how she carried herself, how she spoke about her ideas, how she interacted with potential clients. Within weeks, opportunities started showing up that she would have missed before. People began approaching her with exactly the connections she needed. This wasn't luck. She had changed her energy field to match her future reality. Remember, your outer world is always a reflection of your inner state of being. If you keep waiting to feel successful until after you see the evidence, you've got it backward. You have to generate and maintain the emotions of success first. The physical evidence will follow your emotional state, not the other way around. This means staying in an elevated state even when your current circumstances don't support it. It means feeling abundant even before the money shows up. It means feeling confident even before the external success arrives. It means being grateful for your future now, in this moment. This is how you bend time and collapse space between where you are and where you want to be. Let's talk about what really happens when you start changing your energy. Your body, which has been programmed to be the same person every day, is going to fight you. It's going to try to pull you back to familiar territory. These moments of resistance aren't signs that you're failing. They're proof that you're actually changing. When you start living in elevated emotions, your body's survival mechanisms kick in. It feels unfamiliar, uncomfortable, even threatening to your nervous system. Why? Because your body has been programmed for years, maybe decades, to live in stress, worry, and limitation. It's become addicted to these emotional states. Breaking this addiction isn't comfortable, but discomfort is the price of transformation. Here's what most people do wrong. They wait until they feel ready or comfortable to make changes. But if you wait until you feel ready, you'll be waiting forever. Your body is never going to wake up one day and spontaneously feel like a new person. You have to lead it there. And yes, it's going to resist. When those survival emotions come up, fear, doubt, anxiety, uncertainty, that's not the time to stop. That's precisely the time to double down on your practice. Every time you push through these emotions without acting on them, you're breaking the habit of being your old self. You're literally rewiring your brain's emotional circuits. Let me tell you what's actually happening in these moments. When you maintain your new state of being despite your body's resistance, you're burning the old emotional circuits. You're telling your body we're not living there anymore. It's like building a muscle. It doesn't get stronger unless you push through resistance. Most people give up right before the breakthrough. They start their morning practice strong, but the moment they face a challenge, they abandon their new state and fall back into old patterns. This is where mental toughness comes in. You have to be more committed to your future than to your familiar past. Your limiting beliefs aren't facts. They're just thoughts you've thought so many times that they feel like facts. Every time you choose not to believe these thoughts, you're weakening their hold on you. Every time you act as your future self, despite these thoughts, you're building new neural pathways that support your success. When resistance shows up, don't fight it. Observe it. Watch these emotions and thoughts without engaging with them. Say to yourself, that's just my body trying to pull me back to the known, but I'm creating something new. This simple practice of witnessing rather than identifying with these states helps break their power over you. The key is staying committed to your practice, especially when it feels hard. Every morning meditation, every moment of choosing elevated emotions over survival emotions, every time you act as your future self despite fear or doubt. These are the moments that reconstruct your neural circuits. This is where real change happens. Right now, in this moment, you're sitting at the edge of infinite possibilities. Everything we've talked about, the science of brain change, the power of elevated emotions, the quantum field of all potential. It's not theory. It's not philosophy. It's the mechanics of transformation, and it's available to you right now. Think about what we've covered. Your brain is changing every single moment based on your thoughts and feelings. Your heart is broadcasting an electromagnetic signal that's affecting the quantum field around you. Your body is either living in the emotions of the past or the emotions of your future. The choice is yours, and that choice is available right now. I've seen thousands of people transform their lives using these principles. People who were stuck in chronic pain suddenly walking without limitation. Business owners who were struggling suddenly experiencing unprecedented success. Artists who were blocked suddenly creating their best work. Regular people just like you who decided to stop waiting for their circumstances to change and started changing their energy instead. Let me tell you about someone from our last workshop. She'd been trying to create success in her life for years, following all the traditional advice, working harder, networking more, setting goals. But nothing really changed until she understood what we've talked about today. She started dedicating 1 hour every morning to becoming her future self. Within 3 months, opportunities started showing up that she couldn't have planned for. Within 6 months, her income had doubled. Within a year, She was living a life she previously thought impossible, wishing for a difference between her and everyone else. She stopped waiting for the right moment to start. She stopped waiting for evidence before she'd believe. She understood that the moment to step into your future self is always now. You already have everything you need to begin. Your brain is ready to create new neural networks. Your heart is ready to broadcast a new electromagnetic signal. Your consciousness is ready to interact with the quantum field in a new way. The only question is that you're ready to become someone new. Don't leave this conversation the same person who started it. Don't let this be just another interesting talk that made you feel good for a moment. Take what you've learned and put it into practice. Tomorrow morning, wake up a little earlier. Sit in meditation. Create your future. Feel it, become it, live it. The universe is waiting for you to change first. It's waiting for you to